Hi, it's Andy from Ninox Corporation. In Class 408, we looked at processing vendor bills and accounts payable. In this class, we're going to look at how we pay those bills through cash disbursements and payments. I'm going to go ahead and go into my function menu, and I'm going to select accounts payable. I now have the option to enter a new bill, pay a bill, issue a credit memo, or I can click cancel, which will allow me to view my billing ledger, accounts payable ledger, and my bill pay ledger or my cash disbursements ledger. I want to go ahead and process a new payment. Since I'm already in the accounts payable module, I'll click the plus sign and again select pay bill. This will bring up our bill payment screen. The default date is going to be today. This date can be overridden at runtime. The first thing we need to do is define who we are paying, who's going to receive this payment, and that's going to be the vendor that sent us the bills. I select a vendor, and in this case I'll select Franklin Supply Corporation, and the system will now present me in this area in the outstanding bills list with all outstanding unpaid bills for this particular vendor. Those bills total $222,737.50. And I'm going to pay both of them with this one cash disbursement, with this one payment. Now it's important to remember that you can have one payment against multiple bills, or you might have multiple payments against one bill. All of that is perfectly acceptable. You'll notice the system defaults for my debit account and my credit account. Now, these aren't exactly correct. I actually want to debit accounts payable, which is going to reduce my outstanding payables, and I'm going to credit account 1110, checking operations, because the money's coming out of the checking account. The money that I'm going to send to this vendor is going to be credited out of account 1110. Now, these accounts, the default debit and credit account, can be set at runtime. As you've just seen, you can override those defaults anytime you like. I'm going to go ahead and enter the total payment amount of $222,737.50, the total amount due for these two outstanding invoices. You'll notice this great big red X here tells me that I know how much I'm paying, but I haven't told the system why I'm paying it or what bills are being covered with this one payment. I have an undistributed amount of $222,737.50. I'm going to go ahead and double click the select column in the outstanding bills listing. I'm going to put yes on the first bill just by entering a Y, and then I'll double click again and type yes for the second bill. I have now said that I want to distribute this total payment against these two bills. I'm going to use this icon here with a click to move those over to my payment distribution. Now, the total distribution equals the total amount of the payment. I have the green check mark to confirm that, and I have zero undistributed amount. I'm not spending any money that has not been allocated to a particular bill. I can go ahead now and indicate how this payment is going to be made. Through a check, electronic payment, an ACH transfer, maybe I'm going to use a credit card or a wire transfer. If I'm using cash, I can note that as other. And in the transaction comments, if I'm using a check, I might put the check number. If this is an electronic payment or an ACH payment, I would put the bank authorization code. If this is a credit card, I might want to indicate the payment verification number that I received when I used my credit card to pay this bill online. Like all transactions in the Ninox accounting system, transactions can be distributed in batch or in real time. Real time means I'm going to post every transaction right as it's entered. I click the posting icon. I can either post it or post it and view it. I'll go ahead and select Post and View, and very quickly the system will show us the distribution of this particular transaction. 2120 accounts payable has now been reduced by the amount of the payment, and checking operations account 1110 has also been reduced by the amount of the payment. The check mark tells me that my debits equal credits and my ledger is in balance. Keep in mind, when you post a transaction, you don't have to view the transaction. You can simply select Post and you'll stay here. Now that the transaction has been posted, I can see here my journal entry. The fact that I have a journal entry number tells me I've already posted the transaction. This red border tells me this is a hotspot. If I were to return to this invoice payment disbursement screen anytime in the future, I could simply click on the hotspot and go back and revisit the entry in my general journal. Since my books have not been closed, I can also remove that entry and repost. This time, I'm simply going to post it without viewing it, and watch what happens to the journal entry. I didn't delete the old entry. I'm simply going to offset it with the new entry, which is now entry number 19. The transaction's been fully posted. The message tells me that the posting has been complete, but I don't have to actually go view the transactions in the general journal. Now, when I go look at this particular invoice, I can see total payments of $219,000 and a balance due of 0. And when I go look at the purchase order that this bill was linked to, I can see the bill for $219,000 and I can see total payments of $219,000. Remember, this purchase order only authorized $200,000 in spend, but we set a 10% payment variance acceptable threshold, which means we can pay up to $220,000 against this purchase order. The $219,000 that we just disbursed in payment of this bill is under our 10% threshold, so the payment went through without managerial intervention. That's the bill pay module. I'll see you in our next class.